Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this video. My name is Brian Fisher with Fisher Fast, here on a lovely late fall evening. We're in late September here. Believe it or not, it's still about 75 degrees out at 9 o'clock in the evening. And as you can tell by the leaves all over the ground, we're definitely changing seasons here, unfortunately, and winter will be right around the corner, which we all love so much. On to some more happier, better news here. I actually just took delivery of this 2004 Mars Red SL55 AMG. And I wanted to do a quick video with this car in particular and basically just show you, kind of the condition that I received these vehicles in, and then do a small series, kind of from start to finish, showing some of the steps in between the beginning product and the end product to, better relay or show, the amount of work that goes into these cars. It's not just a quick detail, engine oil change, air filter change, put it back out there for sale. These cars go through complete front to rear, kind of restoration, and really turn them into something special at the end here. This particular SL has just done under 40,000 miles, all original paintwork, no accidents, no smoking, 100% bone stock. So it's a very nice base or platform to start with. And I've been chasing the Mars Red SL since I've first owned one. I've had one other Mars Red SL, and that was 7 or 8 years ago when I first started getting into these cars and the platform in general. And at that time, I was just doing cosmetic stuff to the vehicles, like lowering wheels and tires and maybe some window tint. And now I progressed, much more than that, doing a ton of performance modifications and maintenance, cosmetic, whatever. And definitely taken some great strides in the last 7 or 8 years, if you've watched some of the previous videos. And I want this Mars Red SL to be kind of the redemption car, or what that other Red SL should have been. And I want this to be kind of a flagship vehicle or product for me. And I'm aiming for over 600 wheel horsepower, or 600 horsepower at the rear wheels on the dyno, which is roughly 725, 730, 740 crank engine horsepower, just depending on your correction factor for drivetrain loss. And I'm going to do that, or I'm going to try to do that on pump gas, no methanol, no nitrous, and on the stock supercharger. And this is fresh off the delivery truck, and I mean fresh because it's hasn't been detailed, cleaned, vacuum washed, anything. And this is exactly how I got it, and that's why I wanted to show you that not all the cars that come in here look like this. This is the end product, and my efforts to make it look like this. And this is my definition of perfect. So whenever I tell you the car is perfect, you can expect it to look like this, both inside and out, and also mechanically as well, obviously. And you can see my board here on the left, maintenance, and that's what I do, or that's what I did to just this car. And keep in mind, this silver SL has just under 30,000 original miles on it, and to me, to make it perfect, in my opinion, in my eyes, that's what I did to it. And somebody else may have gotten this car, silver car, or this red car, and drove it just until something breaks, and then they replace it. That's not what I do. I like to be proactive. And if someone tells me you can replace this lower ball joint and this upper ball joint here, your suspension is going to feel 35% stiffer and more responsive, even though the components right now are not failing or worn out, I'm going to put the money into it, and I'm going to replace those parts and make the car drive and feel that much more lively and better, while I have ownership of the vehicle. And that's just the way that I am, and the way my mind thinks. I want it to be the best possible, example and the driving experience that I can, no matter what the cost. And I haven't done anything to this, like I had just mentioned, except for taking the front wheels off and started to disassemble the front bumper. I'm going to be taking the front bumper off to have it repainted, and it's actually in really good shape. I couldn't find any rock chips. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, it hasn't been washed yet, but there's no scratches on the front part of it or top part of it. No rock chips that I can really see, except it does have 4, holes, sort of as a front license plate at one point in time. And somebody may just order the $20-$30 plugs you can get and fill up these holes, and it'll look okay. But like I said, I like it to be as perfect as I can make it. So I'm pulling the bumper off, and the scrapes and scratches underneath, those will all go away, obviously, and have it perfectly paint matched to the original paint. And these holes will all be smoothed out. There won't be any outline from where the plate was, and that will be 100% perfect then. And I took the wheels off as well when I wanted to kind of show, even though you could get in this car and drive it, it'll be perfectly fine. It does have a little bit of pulsation in the brakes right now, and there is a decent lip on the actual rotor itself. And that's just kind of the stuff that I'm going to be replacing. All new brake pads, brake rotors, front and rear, brake fluid flush. The SBC system will be checked to make sure that it's not faulty due to the current recall. If it is faulty, I will take it into Mercedes and they will replace this SBC unit free of charge under warranty, extended warranty. But these are all things that I like to check, even though there may not be something wrong with it. And on that same note, I said I took the wheels off for a reason, and I wanted to show you that, like I was just talking about the suspension components and replacing some of that stuff, even though it hasn't failed yet. All these bushings are, made of rubber. Okay, the upper, lower, underneath here, lower ball joint, tie rod end. And, while that stuff may be perfectly fine and working right now, it does, get brittle with age, and a perfect example of that are these tires. So we take a look at the DOT date on these tires. That's the 39th week of 2004. And these things are literal hockey pucks. I mean, this is like petrified rubber. And that's just what happens, with age and time to rubber components. And, seals, O-rings, bushings, gaskets, that type of stuff, the same things happen to it. And that's why I like to go through these things, go front to back, replace all that type of stuff, even if it doesn't need it, quite just yet. And some of the other stuff, is the supercharger, the back of the pulley, which engages to the drum and the magnet here. There's supposed to be a decent gap here in between 035 and 045. And I guarantee you this is more like 0.10, 0.15. So this is definitely out of spec here, and this is going to make the car feel more like a fixed pulley car, because it's probably always going to be engaged or close to it, because there's no gap in between these two pieces. So whoever was driving this car was definitely getting some harsh engagement from that supercharger pulley. If we take a look under here, you can see it's leaking oil from the valve covers. This is very common. It happens on all of them. So whenever I take the valve covers off to do the plugs, headers, the powder coat, those will all be cleaned up. New gaskets go on, new spark plugs go on. Supercharger taken off, disassembled, all new gaskets top to bottom, new fluid. New engine mounts, new transmission mounts. This car has a bit of a vibration right now due to failed or very worn engine mounts, even though the car only has less than 40,000 miles. The rear seal along the trunk here, which separates the glass from the rear deck lid. This seal always leaks, and I take this seal off completely, strip all the adhesive away, repaint the metal part in the back here, reprimer, paint, and then put a new seal on so that boot lid is waterproof once again. On the interior, this car is very nice. It is definitely a bit dirty right now, but that's after it all gets cleaned up, and you know it'll look like the interior in this car when I'm done with it. Obviously, it's all about having good bones, and this car definitely has that in spades. The seat bolsters are all good. Looks like no wear at all, basically on here. Passenger seat looks brand new. So, like I said, whenever I get these cars in, they're not perfect. I don't. Whenever you buy a 30,000 mile, 40,000 mile car on Auto Trader across country, and the guy tells you it's perfect, it's more than likely going to show up in a similar condition to this one, as they all have, in my opinion. This is kind of like a baseline condition from what I receive. And then this is what they look like when they go out. I tell someone it's perfect. This is my definition of perfect. So I'm not going to drag this on too long. I'm going to try to make a little series, start to finish, on this red car. I'm not going to have enough time to do a new video on everything that I do, nor do I think anyone would want to watch 15, 20 videos on this car. So I'm going to try to do some of the more important stuff. I'll make a quick video update here and there along the way. I'd love to have this car completely done within 2 months, but it's just the problem of dealing with outside people, outside companies, which always throws me off when I'm waiting 2 weeks for powder coat, a couple to a few weeks for carbon fiber stuff. Turnaround time on a lot of this handmade or unique stuff is really what kills me, just waiting around for stuff to get done. And that's why I try to do as much in-house as possible, like fabricating my own exhaust system and welding and doing all that type of stuff. So that's the kind of goal, was to get it done in that 2-month period. I'm sure it's going to go over that a little bit, just due to, like I said, dealing with other people. And that's why I'm trying to get all the long lead item stuff done first and out of the way, such as the paint on the bumper, the reskin, the carbon fiber interior pieces, the paint and powder coat, and that type of stuff. All the long lead, the kind of niche performance products that take a while to come in. Getting all that stuff ordered ahead of time so I can really get cranking on this car. So keep an eye out for future updates on this guy here. And if you have any questions about this car, or you'd like to see anything in particular along the way of what I'm doing, feel free to drop it in the comments below, and I'll try to accommodate and videotape some of that stuff. Take care and have a great night.